Welcome. Today, we're diving into a fascinating idea. Most of our decisions aren't as conscious as they seem. Think about the last time you chose what to eat or clicked a button online. It probably felt like a deliberate choice, but in reality, many of our decisions are shaped before we even start thinking. Defaults, those options that are already selected for us, play a huge role. They quietly guide our behavior by making one path easier than the rest. We often go with what's convenient, rarely stopping to evaluate every option. This sets the stage for understanding how powerful defaults can be in shaping our daily actions and bigger life choices. Making decisions takes mental energy. Every choice means weighing options, predicting outcomes, and feeling confident enough to commit. Defaults make this process easier by reducing the mental load. When something is already chosen for us, our brains interpret it as acceptable or even recommended. Changing a default feels like extra work, so most people simply move forward without reconsidering. This is why we often accept preset options, from subscription renewals to privacy settings. The path of least resistance is powerful, and defaults make that path even smoother. Let's look at how this plays out in everyday life and why it matters for our sense of control. Defaults aren't just neutral, they send signals to our brains. A pre-selected option can feel like it's what most people choose, what experts recommend, or what's safest. This interpretation happens automatically, even if no one explains why the default is there. Once a default is set, inertia keeps us there. Changing it requires effort and justification, so we stick with what's already in place. That's why subscriptions auto-renew, settings stay the same, and routines persist. The starting point matters more than we realize, and habits form around these defaults. This inertia is a powerful force, making it easier to accept the status quo than to question or change it. Influence of defaults goes far beyond small, everyday choices. They can shape outcomes in powerful systems. For example, automatic enrollment in retirement savings plans increases participation rates dramatically. Default organ donation policies can raise the number of donors. In technology, default settings affect our privacy, screen time, and even our attention. These aren't just minor design tweaks, they guide behavior on a large scale. The quiet power of defaults can shape entire populations, not just individuals. Understanding this helps us see why it's so important to pay attention to the options that are set for us, especially in systems that impact our lives in significant ways. Even when we feel in control, defaults can quietly guide our choices. The presence of options gives us a sense of autonomy, but the starting point is rarely neutral. This creates an illusion of control. People believe they made an active choice, when in fact, they simply accepted what was already decided. Not all defaults are negative. Some are designed to protect our health or well-being, while others may prioritize convenience or profit. The key is awareness. When we recognize the influence of defaults, we can pause and evaluate whether the preset option truly aligns with our values and goals. Awareness restores our ability to make intentional choices, rather than running on autopilot. Recognizing the default effect is the first step toward making more intentional decisions. When we pause to ask why something is pre-selected, we create space for real evaluation. This awareness lets us decide if the default truly matches our needs or values. Opting out can feel risky and trigger doubt, but understanding this emotional weight helps us move past passivity. By noticing and questioning defaults, we reclaim our agency. Our choices become deliberate, not automatic. In the end, the power of defaults reminds us that, while we always have choices, the way those choices are presented matters. Awareness is the key to making sure our decisions reflect our true intentions. Wrap up, the default effect shows us that many decisions are shaped before we even realize it. Preset options guide our actions through convenience, inertia, and the sense of recommendation. This doesn't take away our free will, but it does influence how we use it. By learning to notice and question defaults, we can make our choices more intentional and aligned with our values. Remember, awareness restores control, and real choice begins when we claim it for ourselves. Thanks for joining this breakdown. See you in the next video.